Magandang araw, mga kabayan. Ako po si Chris Urbano, bringing you food and fun from the Philippines. And it's fiesta time on the set of Maputing Cooking. We're going to do a recipe right now that's normally you find on the fiesta table. It's Lumpiang Shanghai, a dish that showcases the Filipinos' Chinese culinary origins. And I'm going to show you how to make a delicious version of this using all home ingredients and how to roll those Lumpia Shanghai. It's easier than you think. Check it out. Okay, so grabe, one of my frustrations though whenever I eat Lumpiang Shanghai, it's always like from a catering company or restaurant and talagang yung crappy yung ingredients ng gamit nila. Like if I'm honest ha. And that kind of bothers me. So I want to show you how to make this like really amazing sarap homemade version where we use all quality ingredients. Now, what has to go in, right? Because there's a few options here, but what you have to have in your Lumpiang Shanghai is pork mince. That's compulsory. So I'm gonna put that in first. And you gotta have carrot, that's compulsory as well in any Filipino Lumpiang Shanghai. Diced really super fine, huh? It's a bit of work, but it's worth it. And then you've got to have some bawang. And then, you know what makes it Shanghai? Ito yung soy and sesame oil mo, about 2 tablespoons of each. And then over here, these are some of the optional ingredients you can put in. So I'm going to use them today. If you have them, it's so much the better. And they'll really enhance the flavors going on. So one of the optional ingredients you can put in is mushroom. So syempre, mahal yung mushroom dito sa Pilipinas. So I get why people don't want to put that in here. But I got a portobello mushroom here. I flew in from Australia the other day. You can also use like a dried shiitake mushroom or something like that. And you know, if you're in US, Canada, Australia, really easy to get mushrooms. So definitely recommend this. Adds to the flavor. Next we have singkamas or jicama. Just going to give some more crunch and texture and another kind of flavor into the Lumpiang Shanghai. Parang yung konting sweet sour kind of flavor. Also diced really fine, about the same size as the carrot. And then if you really want to go for it, then you use 2 types of meat. So we've got the pork mince there already. Now I'm going to add in some chicken mince, and you do the combination of the two and it's really super sarap. All right, there we go. I'll just go in with a bit of salt and pepper to season it. And time to get your hands dirty. You can probably use a spoon, but I always find when you're making like your own burger mince or something, it's just easier to use your hands. More satisfying as well. You know, if you're feeling stressed from a long day at work or whatever, this is very therapeutic. Handmade Lumpia Shanghai. Have a glass of wine while you're doing it. So Filipinos like to overpack, right? Like I always see this, they're getting on the airplane and they have way too much stuff. When you make Lumpiang Shanghai, resist the urge to overpack, okay, kabano? So here we go. I'm gonna go with a little bit of this into my lumpia wrapper here. Okay, so you kind of want to lever it back, pack it tight. Once you get to halfway through the lumpia wrapper, you can then fold your ends in, and then we're going to complete rolling it once those ends are tucked in. And I'm just going to use a little bit of, this is just some flour and water. It's a sort of improvised glue. Just use my finger for that. And there we go, may isang lumpia dyan. Ready na yung ating lumpia, and my oil is hot. It's just about to reach the smoke point, so we can get our lumpia straight in here. You can deep fry if you're doing a lot and you got a commercial kitchen. I don't like to waste that much oil, so for me, I often will just shallow fry if I'm doing it at home. You just have to turn them over once during cooking. While this is cooking, I'm actually going to show you how to whip up. So, you know, what do you serve your Lumpiang Shanghai with? You know, pwede naman yung parang yung tomato sauce, pwede din yung sweet chili sauce. I'm going to show you how to whip up a very fast tomato sauce, homemade. Going with a bit of olive oil. Okay, so you can use any tomatoes for this. I've got these beautiful like halo of tomatoes I brought in from Australia. I love when you have like a couple of different types of tomato. We'll just roughly quarter these. Let's see if I can cook this before the lumpia is ready. They're ready to be turned over. Nice golden brown on one side. I'm just gonna mash my tomatoes up a bit there so the juices are all coming out. And then I'm gonna go with about yung isang kutsara ng suka. Cane vinegar, and then maybe about 1 teaspoon of sugar. You can make it sweeter if you've got that sweet panglasang Pinoy. And then salt, pepper, So you can throw in a little bit of onion or chili or something like that if you feel like it. And then my options ka dito, like if you want a more chunky sauce, I love having a chunky tomato sauce. You just leave the tomatoes basically less cooked. If you want it to be a bit more fine and possibly for dipping in lumpia, you can hit it with a stick blender, just 15 seconds just to puree it. And if you don't have a stick blender, just cook it for a little bit longer so the tomatoes have sort of fully disintegrated. I think our lumpia is done, so I'm going to pull that off. Just place it here as a paper towel to dry. Kulang sa sugar. You just really adjust this to your own taste. And now we're ready to plate this up, or if you can't wait, you can just dip it straight in, but don't burn yourself, that oil's hot. If you haven't already subscribed to Maputing Cooking, don't forget, i-push mo yan dito, and don't miss another episode of Food and Fun from the Philippines. And remember to share this video to all of our kabayans and your friends who aren't from the Philippines who might want to learn about Filipino food too. So there it is. This would be perfect at any Filipino Fiesta or pulutan if you're having your Friday night gimmick. I'll try one out now. I've got my homemade tomato sauce here that I whipped up while they were cooking. So satisfying, but look at that. You know when you get the one from the store, the catering, whatever, it's always bitin, like parang maputi lang dun sa loob, yung sa pork lang. But here you got those chunks, like chunks of different meat. You got the carrot, the jicama, the mushroom, makita lahat. And it tastes even better than it looks. Especially when you put it with a homemade tomato sauce, sweet, fresh tomatoes that just really lift this and make it absolutely divine. I'm probably gonna eat this whole plate off cam, but I'm a bit worried tataba ako kung ganon. But if you guys love eating this kind of food, Lumpiang Shanghai, why don't you tell your other kabayans and all of our friends around the world how great Filipino food is. I'm Chris Urbano, and we're taking Filipino food global here at Maputing Cooking.